Tim Sheridan, DC Comics, should apologize to Marty Nodell's family and heirs for what's been done in this book. This is insane. Like, I couldn't believe that we're going to try to, I mean, I can believe, but it's shocking to see the retconning of Alan Scott, this Golden Age Green Lantern, for this weird, strange, gay, homosexual agenda, self-insert stuff that Tim Sheridan's doing. Obviously, we talked about, the JSA and the blackmail stuff, and then it was about conversion therapy and all that. Well, issue number 3 is about gay prostitutes and homosexual validation, being told that you're not a sinner. That's pretty much what issue number 3 is. I can't make this up. This is nuts. The first part is basically him, Alan Scott, trolling for gay dudes. Yeah. And it's like, what is happening? Like, we're trolling for gay dudes, and that's what we do. So it's not so much that it's now about, he was a closeted gay, society understanding, whatever. He's also just a man whore that Tim Sheridan is degrading Alan Scott to be the worst possible version of a person. And then this is how police are portrayed, that they would just randomly grab and physically attack just gay people getting together like that. The raids are becoming more common. I've had some close calls, but the law is clear. What happens out here is criminal, and the police are just doing their job, right? It's when they choose not to do it that irks me. City morgue, dead people, dead cops, dead gay people. So here we have a weird interaction with Jay Garrick. He's the Flash, and Alan Scott, talking about calling the gay guys criminal deviants in the investigation. He suddenly is acting like he's going to do an investigation when Flash is like, yeah, we're good. Yeah, whatever. So this is Alan Scott trying to pretend like Flash says, I get it. This one's personal for you. Well, what the hell does that mean? If you have something you want to say it. Just something you once told me, there's no society without justice for all. If no one else is to investigate this, the JSA will, and we'll follow the facts wherever they and whomever they lead. No, I shouldn't have called you. It's better I do this alone. In other words, Jay Garrick knows he's gay, and he's basically warning Alan Scott that if no one's going to investigate JSA, we'll investigate it. But reality is we're going to out you as a gay dude. We know you're gay. You're gay. So do you really want us to do that or not? Like, that doesn't change society. It doesn't change. It's like, it's this constant thing. So that's how this plays out. And then the third area that gets bizarre is we have the Spectre factor. So the Spectre is brought in, and the Spectre is working through this situation. And then he sort of like has this very strange change of communication of the Almighty. Like he's sort of like this omnipotent, omniscient character, and he says, "I only recently died and become an agent of the Almighty. You're not the only one dealing with identity issues. Well, this is about me, isn't it? All these men are dead because of me." In other words, I guess they're saying that Alan Scott's like slept with all these gay men on that little Skid Row. Alan, you love them, and look at what happened. Well, what always happens when people I get close to. So now it becomes this validation story about God's retribution isn't reserved for men like Robbie Kane or Will Thomas or Alan Scott. It belongs to those who judge them, hate them, and bring them harm. In other words, God doesn't hate you because you're gay. You're not a sinner, Alan Scott. God loves you. He's only going to go after and persecute the ones that are homophobic and gay bashers and things like that. This is so strange. Look at this weird hug. Like, what on earth? Are there a whole bunch of books where the Spectre is hanging out hugs? And look at the flashback to one of Alan Scott's dudes. So The difference between you and those who deserve divine punishment is you stand up, you put on the ring and the cape, and you try with all your power to do good. You honor his creation every time you work to save it out. Like, talk about just massive self-insertion of insecurities. Like, Tim Sheridan is like massively trying to speak for the homosexual community about how they need to be validated by somebody, if not society writ large. And then to retroactively try to put this in culture back then, it's just, it is so crazy. And the fact that we're skirting past this. It's by the way, it's more of a sin, by the way, to be this adulterous. Like, before we got to being gay, could you like not be a man whore? Like, I mean, I don't want to say like anyone's without sin, because they're not, but let's just stop pretending that the dude's gayness is the only thing the Spectre would be having issue with here. So, yeah. Anyway, this is just this is exactly the embodiment of the self-insertion, the agenda, the politicking, all of that contrived nonsense, the retconning of a character, ruining a character. Like, I mean, I wish I had pulled it out. I have a picture I got from meeting Marty. He was such a nice and gracious man at a convention one time. Got to speak with him briefly. I wrote an article about it. I don't know if it's still up, but I have to find it. Anyway, that this character has basically been completely deconstructed by Tim Sheridan and the ilk over at DC Comics, and it really is criminal. I don't have any personal skin in the game. It's not like I'm some massive Alan Scott Green Lantern fan or anything. I just think that you just should have made another character, and Tim Sheridan is got issues, and he's working those out in a comic book that we're supposed to, I guess, ask people to buy and pay a hefty price for. I mean, I don't know. And it's marketed to teens, because 13 and up means you go in high schools or whatever. But anyway, don't think that they don't know they're doing this. I just want to make sure I'm clear. Don't think for a minute that they don't know they're doing this. They 100% do this on purpose. So let me tell you, I mean, I know what most of you are going to say, because I've done a couple videos on Alan Scott before, but I feel like there needs to be a documentation of it, and I'm sure by now other people have done videos. I know a little later to the game on this comic. I sort of like forget it because it's so bad. It's not on my radar screen. I'm like, oh, well, yeah, there's another one that's come out. Then I get to it, so it's been a week or 2 weeks or whatever it's been. And the holidays kind of messed that up, but oh man, it's terrible. What a terrible time we're in with some of this stuff, isn't it? Just brutal. Anyway, take care, everybody. I'm Pops.
Right? And I'm not playing